Hello, this is Bug Powder Dust. Thank you once again for joining me for another World of Tanks video. So today's video is going to be all about the T34. It's a Tier 8 Premium American heavy tank. The T34 has had a bit of an interesting history. Unlike a lot of premium tanks, this actually started out life as a normal Tier 9 tank that you'd have to grind to. You couldn't just buy it. And along came patch 072 and Wargaming decided to make that a premium tank and replace it at Tier 9 with the M103. So this is now a premium tank that you can buy. So if you've reached that time in your life, in your World of Tanks life, where you decide, I'd like to buy myself a Tier 8 heavy tank, you've actually got quite a lot of choice. Why would you buy the T34? So let's have a look at the choice you've got. You can get the T34 down here. You can not get one on the British line, not yet. The German line, you can treat yourself to a Löwe or Jagdtiger 88 if you want a tank destroyer. The Frenchies have the FCM 50T, which is quite a decent tank. Chinese don't have one yet, but the Russians, you've got the IS-6 or the KV-5, which I'm not seeing here because you can't buy that through this mechanism. So which one should you go for? Well, I drove the Löwe for a very long time. Had just under 1,000 games in it, and I don't know whether my playstyle has changed or whether Wargaming did make changes to the Löwe itself, or whether the Löwe is just getting hit hard by the differences in the more powerful guns and penetrating guns at the higher levels. But I started to get increasingly dissatisfied with the Löwe. It's very slow for a start, very slow to get up to speed, quite a big target as well. Armour wasn't great, or rather the armour was okay. It was, 120 on the front, 80 on the sides and back, but it had a huge lower frontal plate that is a big weakness, and that tends to set the Löwe on fire as well. So I started getting a bit dissatisfied, and I thought, I'm going to get a T34 because I've seen these things in battle. They always command my respect. Their armour is nothing to write home about. It's 102mm on the front, 76 on the sides, 51 on the rear. So the hull armour itself is not much to write home about, and probably isn't going to bounce a great deal. But the turret armour, 279 on the front, 127 on the sides, 203 on the rear. Let's just take a quick look how that compares to its stablemate, the T32, which is basically a heavy tank at the same level. You'll see that the turret armour of the T34 is 279, and it only actually shows the stats of the stock turret for the T32. So let's actually quickly go into the... Here we go. So the T32, which has been renowned for having a really tough turret, you go hull down with that thing, nothing's getting through you in a hurry, has got 298 at the front, 197, 152. So the T32 turret is absolutely amazing. But of course this is a premium tank, so it's never going to be brilliant. However, 279 is still not shabby at all, especially when you consider this big gun mantlet here on the front. So if you can get hull down with this thing, and you can use the gun depression, you start to really put on the hurt. Let's take a look at the actual sort of damage you can put out. 248 penetration, that's really good. If you compare that to, I'm going to compare it a lot to the Löwe, because the Löwe is the only Tier 8 heavy that I've had experience with driving. Let's just take a look at this quickly, compare the two. Actually, I'm going to go into it. So here's the Löwe gun stats. I'm just going to call up the T34 gun stats. Right. The differences between the guns are the Löwe's gun is more accurate. It's got a .33 compared to .35 of the T34, and its aim time is faster, half a second faster. 2.9 compared to 3.4. Rate of fire is also faster. Its penetration is lower and the damage is lower. So if you can live with the slightly slower rate of fire and slightly longer aim time, you can be penetrating with more confidence and doing more average damage. I've got almost 500 damage with this gun on a few occasions, and that's really nice. Then you're moving into kind of Tier 9 tank territory with that sort of damage. So you kind of pay your money, takes your choice. But going back to what I was saying earlier, the Lerva, I think I've outgrown it because I use gun depression and hide behind hills and little undulations in the terrain quite a lot when I play. Something that the Lerva's not very good at. In fact, almost none of the German tanks are very good at gun depression. And it was something that I started to use quite a lot. So the T34 I've begun to enjoy a hell of a lot. It's a really good money earner. I find I can earn more on average in the T34 than I do with the Lerva. So this is definitely a tank for me. The lower front plate is not very easy to hit, but as I said earlier, 102mm frontal hull armour is not brilliant. You're not going to be bouncing a great deal. You want to be angling yourself anyway, so with any luck, what most people tend to do is when they see a target like this, you tend to aim for the least angle, which is obviously going to be nearer to this side than it is to this side. This is more angled than this is, and the chances are your tracks might eat it. I find my tracks do eat quite a lot of damage. Notably, obviously the track nearest to the tank that I'm angled to, so that's pretty useful. The tracks aren't all tucked away, unlike some of the other tanks, so that's pretty useful, which gives them something to think about. Obviously, this is a weak spot as well, but on the whole, this tank you've got to play it with. I'm only going to try and expose my turret if I can. Then you can bounce quite a lot of shots, as I'll be showing you in one of the replays that we'll be seeing moving on. So moving on quickly to the other things, the speed limit is the same as a Lerva, but it accelerates much faster to get there. So you can kind of get yourselves in and out of situations in a more speedy fashion, if you like, which is pretty good. So it's also a lot lighter. The Lerva, I think, is 90 tons or almost 100 tons, so it's considerably lighter. Hence the faster acceleration. What you want to do on this is I've got vents, as you can see. Gun rammer I think is a must given the potentially much lower reload speed. And then you can either kind of take your money, pay your money and take your choice on this. I've gone for the vertical stabilizer, but you want to have anything that will bring down your aim time, so vertical stabs, or you can go for the gun laying drive. Some people prefer one or the other. I prefer this. You get a 20% accuracy increase during movement of turret rotation. Turret rotation being the important one, and I find that works for me. But you know, yeah, your mileage may vary given what situation you find yourself in. So that's enough of me talking. How does it play? Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so here we go. This is Ruinberg, and I'm platooned with Watlanka in the Lerva and Morpheus 187 in the frankly excellent Tiger II. I do like that tank. Very, very good indeed. So, as is the manner of heavy tanks generally on this map, we're going to go to town. We're going to take the road that's just in front of us. Initially I was going to go over to the kind of H1 area, but you know what, I think the strength of the platoon is when we all stick together, so I decided I'm going to come up here. They would push up to almost the middle of the map, and then I'd take care of the second road on that kind of spoke. If you imagine it's a wheel, the F3 road. So they can push up knowing that I've got their back. Now I noticed there's a really nice little spot here that Morpheus was just looking at, and I'll show you now, where if your tank's high enough you can use this, you can fire through it, and all they can really see is your gun mantle. This spot here is absolutely brilliant. Now there's no coincidence that that truck is there. I'm sure that Wargaming did that on purpose, but this is a really great spot for hitting them as they come through. If you've got really good turret armour, which I have, then this is a perfect spot. So I'm going to wait here and wait for the inevitable tanks to roll around this corner. Here we go, Type 59. Bang, straight away. 370 damage, which is pretty nice. That's slightly under average, but that's good enough. And I think the Lerva kindly knocked out the truck for me. Bounce. And managed to hit the top part of the turret of that T34, which is obviously the weak spot. Command hatches are always the weak spots on these, on well, any tank pretty much. It's not quite as prominent as on some tanks, but not quite as hidden as on other tanks. For instance, the IS-3's commander hatch is actually quite hard to hit. Should have weighted slightly more, aimed slightly better, but I'm fairly arty safe here as well, so this is quite a nice spot. We did the right thing by moving all the heavy tanks in here. And I did the right thing also by not going over to the kind of G1, H1 area. This is where I'm needed. So countryside-wise, on the east of the map, there isn't much going on. Their T34, the second T34 there by the looks of it. Oh no, there is only one, sorry, he's just moved. He took down our Lerva, and that's gone. So it's just me here at the moment, holding these guys back. Ah, lovely. Punish the Lerva, 443 damage with one hit. So that's the sort of damage that you'd be quite lucky to get with a Lerva gun, for instance. But it's fairly consistently happening with this gun. T69. Sitting duck. Don't think he was paying attention. So far so good. It's 4-2 to us. I rolled forward expecting to see the Lerva, but suddenly a T34 appeared, but that's fine. I'm now calling for my platoon mates. They need to get back here quick, because if both these guys roll forward, they're in trouble, and so am I, because they'll have their rear armour exposed, and my reload is not exactly brilliant. So I'm preparing to angle myself now. Shot to the Lerva, angle, but you know what, I'm never going to bounce a shot from a Lerva, not at that range. It's just too good. So something weird happens here. I press the button but nothing happens. I don't know whether I lagged or something, but it was weird. I was just kind of clicking the button, nothing happened. So I ate a shot when I could have easily killed that T34, but he got finished off by our T34 some way back. So there's a tiger, full health tiger there. So I'll do something about that. Meantime, the Lerva takes some big hits from Morpheus and also the T34 over in H1. And that tiger that I'll be shooting at destroys what anchor is Lerva. I exposed myself a little bit too much there, and some arty getting me a right kicking. Killed my radio operator and tracked me. Took 474 damage from that. Boom. So another arty hit, 263. The game's pretty much over bar the shouting now. 3,000 damage, which isn't bad. This gun really does hurt if it hits you. So I'm just going to increase the speed of this ever so slightly. So I know that I'm pretty much one-shottable by artillery, and their M41 RT has been really effective this game, so a little bit cautious. But as it turns out, it was pretty much all over bar the shouting. I didn't get any more hits in, and their RT was found and destroyed without any much more major drama. So that gives you a good idea of what a well-positioned T34 can do. As you can see, quite a lot of damage. It was a fairly key part of that battle. So yeah, not a bad game at all. So let's move on to the next one. So just before we do that, just want to take a quick look at the victory screen, and as you can see, it earned quite a bit of cash. I wasn't playing premium, but still earned 61,000. With premium would have been 92,000. So as you can see, even in terms of non-premium, you can still make this into quite a nice money maker. After resupply and repair, 45,000 credits, so that's not really bad at all. As I said, did about 3,000 damage, so I'd say that's a fairly average round. So yeah, not bad at all. Let's move on. Okay, so here we go. The map is Fjords, and it's myself and Watlanka in his Tiger 2 this time. So we go south. Traditionally on this game, it can be quite a danger if you start in the east, that nobody really goes south, and if no one goes south, you've got big problems. So I always tend to go south on this game rather than go middle. So Watlanka's hurrying to join me, and looks like we've got a couple of Super Pershings coming down here as well, so that's great. I decided that I'm going to go down to the bottom here to use my hull down and my strong turret armour, but then an M5 comes around the corner, so I'm trying to get a sneaky shot, which misses miserably. He was only 80 metres away, but didn't have much of a target to hit. So, keep moving up, let the other guys catch up. Looks like we've got an IS-3 coming down to face us. I don't know what else there is coming down. So this is not the best position here. I'm at a bit of a funny angle. I want to try and let them come around the corner so our Hummel over in J0 there can hit them. So there's no point us going to them, because then their RT can hit us. So a hit and a bounce there on the 4502A. I think that was an RT hit, so that was pretty good. Slightly losing my concentration for a moment, they end up missing the shot, but that's okay. So being hull down here, I don't really have a great deal to worry about. So he shot and he bounced. I guess he was aiming maybe for my my turret there, but it sorry, my hatch. It went low. It's getting a little bit crowded in this section. I don't have a shot on the 4502, but as you can see, it's getting a little bit crowded there. So I decided to move up. By doing this, I sacrificed my hull down spot, but really we don't want to get in our way too much. Sorry, in each other's way too much. So move around the corner. Good hit on the IS-3, and what Lanka gets a good hit on the 4502, which I've actually bought recently. It's not a bad tank, but you have to play it like a heavy medium. The 4502 uses the penultimate gun that you can get on the Tiger 2, so it's like the is it the short 105? Yeah, or the long 88, something like that. It's not bad, but anyway. So we're pushing up. We're pushing these guys back once we've realised there's nothing else coming up here. When the AT7 appears, so could be problematic. A lot of heavy front armour on this British tank destroyer. Well, I know that its weak spot is its fairly large commander hatch, so I'm going to try and get some shots on that if I can. As you can see, he's very protruding up like that, so I'm going to try and get a hit on that when he stops still. There we go, bang. And that's another third of his health gone, so that's a really good hit. Reloading. I'm pretty safe here, just my turret being exposed. I'll just show you. Yes, there's not much of my my hull to be seen, so you can see there with the gun depression. So I start to push up now, using the slope to shield myself from the AT7. He moves forward, I move back, put a shot in. Slightly low roll means that I don't actually kill him, but he gets finished off by one of the Super Pershings. So we keep pushing up. We see a rather unfortunate Tiger 2 on the right here. We both aim and fire and hit him at the same time. And we went from 600 hit points to dead within a matter of seconds. So push around the corner. I haven't done a great deal in this game, 1800 damage, so it's not loads. But our little team has been very successful. So we push up. However, the other team have actually brought quite a lot of their tanks back to defend. They've actually done the right thing here. And Super Pershings can be quite hard to face frontally, because you're relying on hitting their weak spots, and if you haven't got the most accurate gun in the world, it's not the easiest thing to do. So I'm trying not to show too much of myself here. I'm trying to work out where I can hit them. Good enough. Decided to go for the Super Pershing because he's near him. What I've done is I've overexposed myself like an idiot. So as you can see, it's not a good spot to be in. I'm getting hit by everybody. So while I wait for my track to repair, I'm a little bit indecisive about which target to hit, and I end up shooting nothing. Bad angle to shoot the Super Pershing at, and it bounces. So I'm backing up to get out of the way of everything hitting me. I'm going to go around this side. Two Pershing's holding his own here. So, going to push round. Boom. Going to try and hit the Indian Panzer. Just need to reload first. Oh, it's looking good, and boom. So the T34-2 is now being finished off in the middle, well, almost the middle of the map there. So that's a good game. 3,300 damage. It's not bad at all. And here's the end of game victory screen. As you can see, this time I was premium. 107,000 credits earned with premium. Without it would have been 71,000. So still a really good money maker, even if you're not premium. Got 2,500 experience without, 3,008 with. So very much in the thick of things. Let's take a look at the details page. So we can see that I got 737 damage upon detection, which is pretty nice, as well as the damage I did. Shots fired 15. You can see that the shells aren't cheap. They're approximately 1,000 each, but still made a very nice profit on that game. So yeah, not bad at all. So there you have it. That was the T34 in action. I hope you found that useful. So really, I guess it depends on your playstyle as to whether you will actually like the tank. If you want a brawling tank, which you can get in close and just kind of slug it out shot for shot, then the T34 probably isn't the tank for you. You probably want to get an IS-6. The IS-6 is has very good for that sort of thing. Although on paper the IS-6 stats don't look that great in terms of armour, 100, 160. You're thinking, well, it doesn't look great. To be fair, look at the angling. The angling's good, and it's spaced armour as well, or spaced to a degree. And it makes it a really good tank for brawling in. Its armour, its turret armour is excellent. Front and sides is really good. Also, again, if you look at the turret, it's very flat and it's sloped on the sides. So this is going to be a very good tank for up close brawling in. However, if you want a tank that is kind of an all-rounder, the T34 I think fits that role quite nicely. You can push with it should you want to. It's got the fear factor. I think people see this big tank lumbering towards them with a big gun, and they know it can do a lot of damage in one hit with a gun that can penetrate quite hard. I would actually go for this tank. This is the tank for you. If your playstyle is kind of hanging back, being second line, then this tank will fit your purpose as well. Its gun is accurate, just accurate enough to act in a kind of support tank role. Like the Lerva's gun is more accurate, but even with the Lerva, I don't think it's a good tank for brawling in. It's I don't know. I've tried it and it's not gone very well. Its weak spots are just too big and glaring. You want to be hull down as much as you can. You want to hide your front plate as much as you can in the Lerva. So I think the T34 is my favourite Tier 8 premium tank. I've not played the IS-6, and I think I'd probably quite enjoy that as well. But I think, if I remember correctly, the IS-6's gun penetration is a little bit lousy. Am I correct in that? Yeah, 175. 175 penetration of that gun when you compare to the 200 and, what was it? 240. Let's take a quick look. 248. That's a huge difference. The damage is kind of approximately the same. It's really inaccurate. You don't snipe with this gun. The rate of fire is better though. The rate of fire is almost you can pump out an extra round per minute, but the penetration is really disappointing. So you need to be up close where you can hit those weak spots. You can get brawling. The damage is good, so that's not an issue. Aim time again is slow, so you want to get in close where aiming is not such an issue. The tank's right in your face. So yeah, it depends what works for you really. Personally, I like the T34. I'd like to get the IS-6 in due course. 175 pen, although it doesn't. Oh, that scares me. I've used a 175 pen at Tier 8 before, and it's not pleasant. You end up bouncing quite a lot of shots. But if you're able to get in close, again, it's not such a problem, I don't think. Anyway, that's enough of that. Hope you found it useful. If you did, please give a like to the video and maybe share the link with your friends. I will hopefully catch you next time. I've been Bug Powder Dust. That's been the T34. Take care out there on the battlefield.